Thank you so much. Please, you may have your seats. To continue this program, we'll just go straight to our program of events. First off, leading Nigeria's business environment reform agenda with vision and drive. May I now invite the Director General of the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, Princess Zahrah Mustapha Audu, to speak on Nigeria's reform journey and policy consistency. You're welcome, ma'am. Thank you.
The Deputy Assistant Secretary for West Africa, Mr. Will Stevens, heads of agencies, the Nigerian Ports Authority, Nigerian Customs Services, Oil and Gas Free Zone, Nigerian Export Promotion Council, National Identity Management Commission, National Council for Climate Change, amongst others, Presidential Task Force on Technology Transfer. Please forgive me if I've omitted anyone. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is a profound honor to stand before you today at this historic side event of the 80th UNGA United Nations General Assembly meeting, where we're gathered under the banner of partnership, innovation, and progress. Our mandate is clear: to make Nigeria a progressively easier place to start and grow business. Yet, beyond ease, our vision is to foster competitiveness, attract sustainable investment, and position Nigeria as Africa's business and investment hub. Policy consistency is the cornerstone of investor confidence. Too often in emerging markets, reforms are launched with vigor, but not sustained with discipline. At the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, PEBEC, we are determined to break this circle through evidence-based policy frameworks such as the Regulatory Impact Analysis Framework launched in January 2025. We are ensuring that reforms reflect real-world business needs. This bridging role is what sustains policy consistency. Government cannot reform in isolation, and businesses cannot thrive in uncertainty. Together, we co-create solutions. Reforms is not only a federal story. Nigeria's governors are at the heart of subnational competitiveness, and through the State Action for Business Enabling Reforms Program, SABA, and the Subnational Ease of Doing Business report, we're equipping our states with the tools and data to attract investments, scale enterprises, and showcase their competitive advantages. Ladies and gentlemen, Nigeria is not merely open for business. Nigeria is competing for investments. We're offering regulatory clarity, enhanced service delivery, and a market of over 200 million people strategically positioned within the African continental free trade area. With reforms in ports, aviation, trade, energy, and technology, we're building the enabling environment investors need to make long-term commitments. In conclusion, as we gather at the United Nations, let us remember that reforms is not an event but a journey, one that requires persistence, partnership, and purpose. As the Director General of the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, PEBEC, I reaffirm our Council's commitment on behalf of His Excellency the Vice President of Nigeria, Senator Kashim Shettima GCON, to sustain reforms, institutionalize policy consistency, and ensure that Nigeria remains a leader in Africa's economic renaissance. Let us work together to unlock the great potentials of our great country, Nigeria. Thank you for being here today, and I wish us all successful deliberations.
Thank you so much, the Director General, Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council. Please, a round of applause one more time. Thank you. To speak on deepening U.S.-Nigerian participation, unlocking investment, innovation, and inclusive growth in Africa's largest market, we will now invite Mr. Will Stevens, Deputy Assistant Secretary for West Africa. You're welcome, sir.
Hi. Do I need to stand behind here? Yes. This is where she established the protocol, so I should stand on them. Right? My people, well done, my name is Will Stevens. I recently moved back from Lagos where I was our Consul General and sometimes Chargé d'Affaires for the U.S. mission in Nigeria. I moved back in January to help lead the West African Affairs section of the U.S. Department of State. So I oversee all of West Africa, which pretty much consists of Nigeria and a few other countries, but 16 actually to be exact. I wanted to go over a few things, but before I do that, let me just talk about the vision and how we see Nigeria in the United States. Nigeria is a country of incredible potential. It is our largest or second largest trading partner on the continent, depending on the year, on the quarter. It is a growing trade relationship. It has grown from around $10.5 billion a year to about $14 billion in the last quarter. And it is an entirely balanced trade relationship. So as you look at the trade relationship between the United States and Nigeria, unlike some of Nigeria's other larger trading partners, Nigeria sends us as much as we send Nigeria, which is incredibly important in the president's eyes and in the eyes of the administration, that you're talking about a relationship that's on equal footing. We also see a longtime partner, a country that we have invested in for decades and decades and decades. A country where your leaders, we consider our leaders as well. And if you look across the Nigerian government, from your president to your ministers to your governors, you see people who have, as I like to say, grown up in American companies. And this is one of the things that we love about doing business with Nigeria, because when we look across the table, we see someone who knows us. And more than that, we believe we know Nigeria. There are 750,000 Nigerian Americans. It is the single largest, or the single most successful diaspora group in the United States when it comes to income levels and education levels. And that is largely driving Nigeria's #1 source of foreign revenue, which is remittances, right? More than you're getting from oil and gas, you're getting from remittances, primarily from the United States and the UK. So this is our top trading partner. When you talk about Africa, you have to be talking about Nigeria. The second half of the 21st century, it's the African century, folks. If we're not figuring out how to engage appropriately, and we haven't figured out how to unlock true business, then Africa is going to, well, you're not going to be able to meet the needs of a rising population, right? You're going to have 1 out of every 3 workers in the world will be on the continent. So that's where we're going. We're looking forward to going there together. I think the opportunities are definitely there. I think the obstacles are there. I'm grateful to see the folks from across the Nigerian government here today to talk about this. I'm grateful for the leadership that PEBEC has provided, and the American Business Council, and the work that we're doing to talk about these issues. It's one thing that I loved about working in Nigeria was whenever the government was considering some sort of regulation or new law, they would come out and they would reach out to ABC and say, what does the American business community think about this? How would this impact what you're trying to do? And that demonstrates a maturity that I think sets Nigeria apart on the continent. It's a complex regulatory environment, but so is the United States. It's complex because you're a democracy, right? And you have a lot of different varying interests and vying interests, and that complexity is a reflection of your maturity as a nation, and it's why we love partnering with you, because we come from similar systems. We know you, and I hope you know us. And I'm looking forward to building on that. And thank you so much for the opportunity to come and speak with you today.
Thank you so much. It's a great pleasure to be here. As we always say, just for those who don't know what American Business Council is about, American Business Council is the American Chamber of Commerce, and it's the affiliate of the US Chamber in DC. Currently we have close to 101 US companies that are members, and we work very closely with both governments to drive trade and investment conversations between the two countries and in the interest of member companies. We always say at the American Business Council that the US is a natural partner to Nigeria, that we are natural partners, and that we have companies in Nigeria, US companies that have been there since before the independence of the country. And so it's not surprising that, when Deputy Assistant Secretary Will talked about the balance of trade that now we're seeing, the fact that we're now real partners, and it's not like one person feels, it's not a lopsided relationship. It kind of underscores this conversation. But more importantly is that, with the inception of the government of President Tinubu, we have seen a more listening government, just like the Deputy Assistant Secretary said, where we have a lot more engagement. It was interesting that before the election, we had 4 vice presidential candidates sit then at the Consul General's residence in his sitting room, and to meet with U.S. companies to really talk about what they're going to be doing. And 4 of these presidential candidates said we're going to be private centric, and we're going to be having a lot of dialogue, a lot of communication with the private sector. And so this has been the story, and this is what we've been seeing so far. One of the things we said we were going to do right from the start was, as a chamber, we're going to be having conversations with PEBEC. So PEBEC for us is the funnel through which we're able to engage with other stakeholders. So one of the projects we said was what we call the Ease of Doing Business series. Princess's predecessor, who's now the Honorable Minister for Industry, Trade and Investment, held the first Ease of Doing Business series with us, and we brought in the Comptroller General of Customs. I can tell you that this relationship with the Customs has really improved a couple of things in terms of being able to resolve not just personal issues with U.S. companies, but even the most recent 4% levy that eventually was removed. Being able to reach out and have roundtables, and they say to us, okay, let's see how things can work. And this is how we want to continually see the relationship that we have, not just with customs, but with other departments and agencies. This is the strength of this organization and this relationship. And for us, I keep saying that even more importantly, when the new administration, the US administration came, a lot of people were like, okay, how is it going to see it? What is it going to look like? I kind of told a lot more people that, look, Nigeria is actually more positioned for trade than aid, and that this is a better way for us to move forward. And we're beginning to see the dividends. The Deputy Assistant Secretary talked about the commercial investment partnership that's focused on critical areas, digital economy, agriculture, infrastructure. These are areas that are very critical to both countries, and where you see a lot of US companies playing as well. From the private sector side, we have what we call the US-Nigeria Business Dialogue between us and the US Chamber, where we're also looking at these areas, but also potentially driving conversations into things like healthcare. These are areas that are pretty important. One of the things that came up again in terms of our relationship with PEBEC, and this was Princess before she became the DG of PEBEC, but we looked at the need to bring not just the American Business Council, but also other chambers into a conversation we call the existing foreign direct investors. Because we realized, at the outset, we were like, a lot of companies are leaving Nigeria, all that narrative. And we felt it was important for us to all come together to look at, what the prevailing issues are, to see how we can drive that. So I'm happy to see that the deputy, the vice chair of the European Chamber of Commerce is here, as well, in maybe double capacity, but he's here. And I know that, we've had 2 sessions we have a professional service company called PwC that's driving, how we need to move forward and the metrics and all that. I think this is an ongoing conversation, and this conversation we are having here is even more important to me. I'm happy to have the president or the vice president in the room, but more importantly, I'm happy to have the stakeholders who directly affect the work that we're doing today. And so I could go on and on. So, but it's my pleasure again to
have this partnership, not just in Nigeria, but also here in the US. And I would look forward to more positive engagements with the ministry departments and agencies through working with PEBEC. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. Again, permit me to stand on the already established protocol. It's a pleasure to be here to participate in the event that is organized by Princess Zahrah. And I want to also comment on our efforts in trying to move this economy forward by organizing programs like this. Now, in the Nigerian Port Authority, we have been around for 70 years, and our role in the Nigerian economy is major. So from day one, as soon as this administration came into being, and we are sent to assume the responsibility of leading the agency, we identified 5 major areas that we need to focus on. And one of those is the port infrastructure. Number 2 is equipment and tools. Number 3 is technology. Number 4 is human capacity building. Number 5 is the idea of trust and relationships. We saw the challenge that the marine services part of the business of Dangote will require a very, very special focus. So we established what was called the one-stop shop committee, which was like, a committee or a team that consists of all the necessary or relevant agencies of government that would be required to run the marine services of the Dangote refinery. We put all of us together. They put all of us together in the same place, which was in MPA. And so we treat every document or every requirement or every process that pertains to ships, tankers that are carrying crude oil for Dangote or are carrying PMS from Dangote, to be treated in a speedy and a more efficient manner. And because of that, what was projected by Dangote for his production per month was to be able to do 60 tankers. Now we are doing 67 tankers for him. So these are some of the things that collaboration and working together has made possible in Nigeria. And we're going to continue to follow and do better, not only in that sector, we're also in the area of what we call the body, because on a normal day, when the ship arrives in Nigeria, there are about 4 agencies that may need to go on the vessel to look at maybe issues of documentation pertaining to immigration, some other one pertaining to health, some other one pertaining to drugs and other things. So now we have a joint boarding app, which makes it very easy for all the agencies involved to do it at once and at the speed that is necessary for efficiency to be seen in the way we treat these vessels. So these are some of the things we are doing, and we are seeing that the results are positive. And we are concerned and we are very, very serious about returning Nigeria to be the leading or the port of, hub in West Africa and in Africa. Because in the same manner that other continents, you have countries that have the largest economies, you have the countries that have the biggest economy, the highest population, and also having the number 1 port with them. We have to have the ability to achieve that for Africa, and especially for West Africa. All these things that we have so far achieved, the credit, 100% of it must go to the leadership of Mr. President, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, and then also in particular the Vice President, Senator Kashin Shettima, GCON, and then again the Minister for Marine and Blue Economy, who has been very supportive, very engaged with us, very kind, and gives us all the support and guidance. So Again, I want to appreciate other agencies of government from Nigeria who are also here, and then we look forward to more robust engagements and partnership and collaboration between and amongst all of us. Thank you so much, and have a good day.
Free zones are a form of special economic zones. They are designated areas within a country that offer favorable economic policies, infrastructure, and regulations to attract investment and promote economic growth. Nigerian free zones are not merely parcels of land. They are practical instruments for industrial upgrading and a platform for credible, regionally scalable investments. We are asking US investors and institutions to, 1, undertake site visits to Lagos Free Zone, Lekki Free Zone, Buddha Industrial Park, even come to Dangote Refinery. We can make it happen. Come and see the infrastructure and the anchor tenants. These are the big names. They have anchor tenants that are doing very well on the free zone model. 2, partner with us. Partner on anchor projects and small and medium scale enterprises, factory shells that bring jobs and local procurement content. And finally, co-finance. Blended finance for shared infrastructure that unlocks hundreds of tenant investments. NEPZA and our partners are ready to support due diligence for you, provide regulatory clarity, and structural facilitation for investors that are ready to move from dialogue to signed commitments.
Our business has been in Nigeria from a shipping side established since the mid-80s. Our vessels from the merged group have actually called since the 50s. And as a terminal operator, we've been in the country since the early 2000s, and having run concessions in Lagos from 2006 and in Audu from 2007. And throughout that period, we have invested heavily in this infrastructure to the tune of more than $500 million over the past 20 years. Recently, about 115 million in the Audu port, which is the most important gateway to the eastern part of Nigeria. Lagos is, however, the main cornerstone in Nigeria's economy, and therefore needs additional port capacity. My very, very good friend, the MD for NPA, explained the large number of initiatives and reforms which are ongoing by the NPA under the guidance of the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy to improve the logistic situation and the port sector in Lagos. And we are, as APM Terminals, very keen to play our part in that. We're also very keen to partner with PEBEC and other parts of the Nigerian government, which really over His Excellency President Tinubu's reign has taken reforms in Nigeria to a completely different level. It is something that is encouraging us as foreign investors, and we are looking very positively at the indicators that we see. The macroeconomic stability and the persistency in the reforms that are being done is something that encourage my shareholders, being foreign investors in Nigeria.
In line with the renewed hope mandate of Mr. President, I am more than happy to highlight the transformative impact of our work in ensuring that there's financial inclusion for Nigerians here at home and abroad. At NIMC, we understand that identity is the foundation upon which our financial systems, governments, and institutions are built. Our mandate is very clear: to provide a secure, reliable identity management system for Nigerians, to integrate and harmonize all ministries, departments, and agencies to ensure that all MDAs are able to enable access to services under their own mandate, to provide authentication and verification services to both the public and private sector, to foster enabling access to services with ease, also by the use of the EID card that NIMC has worked on. We have made significant strides in this regard with a total enrollment figure of about 126 million Nigerians, which I'm very proud of. Over 35 databases have been integrated, so which means that databases are no longer operating in silos. You have instant access to government services and thousands of private sector services using the NIN authentication app. So I would like to encourage every single person here today to please download your NIN Auth application. It's spelled NINAUTH. So please download it. Your virtual ID card sits on that card, and you also have control over your own data, so which means that you can use your own data now to be able to access any of the government services you want or any of the private sector services. You can share it for whatever you want to do, whether it's financial or non-financial transactions. This means more Nigerians at home and in the diaspora can participate fully in the economy. With over 200 locations in Africa and the rest of the world, Nigerians in the diaspora can now apply for their passports renewal or issuance of their passports from the comfort of their homes, or open up a bank account easily with a verified name. We've also onboarded NYSC agents because we want to make sure that they understand the importance the NIN plays in their lives, how it will impact them greatly on a positive note, and how they can use it to unlock financial opportunities for themselves, whether they want to be, employers, small-scale employers, or they intend to be employees. It will definitely be able to assist them in all they want to do, especially when they're making applications for loans, important services across board. So as we move forward, we will continue to innovate and improve on our existing services, ensuring that the power of identity is harnessed to keep driving financial inclusion, digital trade, bridging the digital divide, and improving economic growth.
Nigeria is blessed with enormous resources, both natural and human resources. You're all, if you're not from Nigeria, you come from a country that boasts of over 1,000 agricultural products agricultural products, ranging from cashew to cocoa to hibiscus, ginger, soya beans, shea, just name it. Any agricultural commodity that is required or demanded in the global market is seen in large quantity in Nigeria. Nigeria is the largest producer of hibiscus. Nigeria is the largest producer of gum arabic. Nigeria is the largest producer of shea nut. Shea nut, Nigeria controls over 45% of production of shea nut globally. Nigeria is the 4th largest producer globally of sesame. Nigeria is the 4th largest producer of cocoa and cashew. The list goes on and on and on. So we are blessed. It's a blessed nation. Nigeria has 44 minerals out of over 50-something minerals. And then we're now talking about human resources. Nigeria has the youngest population in Africa. Over 60% or thereabout of Nigerians are youth, below the age of 30. So we have, are you talking about entertainment industry, what do you call it, the Afrobeat music, the Nollywood? Talk about technology, talk about IT. Nigeria has it. We have everything, and that's why we should be proud to be in Nigeria. Talking about trade, like I said, Nigerian Export Promotion Council, we can't just say it's Nigerian NEPC. No, we need at this point to also commend our exporters. The exporters have done great things, and their work, despite the challenges that resonated to this increase. And I'm talking about this is the formal documented trade. Now, what are we doing? Nigerian Export Promotion Council have been working, training the SMEs, training the exporters from the farm gate, building their capacity. Last year, we did about 600 training programs across the 36 state operating offices and 6 regional offices, and we impacted 64,000 participants. And we're beginning to see so many of them exporting to different countries. Apart from developing products, we've been able to create market access and market linkages for them. We've been able to take some of our exporters to different clients. We've taken them to America, we've taken them to Europe, we've taken them to Asia, we've also taken them to some African countries. Like just 2 weeks ago, we took about, in conjunction with NEPC, BOI, and Sweden, we were able, and NIPC, we were able to take about 70 exporters, creating market access, and it will surprise you that just within Nigerian pavilion, we were able to sign, our exporters were able to sign deals of $110 million US. So, coming to the strategies, how do we're already increasing in the volume of non-oil export, and the trajectory is upwards.
My committee was set up by a presidential directive for us to drive technology from our global partners to enterprises in Nigeria where they are going to adapt it and then scale. What we have done since coming on board is to look at those countries that are friendly to Nigeria and are willing to transfer technology to us so that we can drive local production. The first country that we came in contact with and are willing to do that was the Czech Republic, Europe. The Czech Republic had a program called the T2 program, where they share technology within the developed nations that are in the program and commercialize it. After lobbying, Nigeria was the first and only African country that was admitted into the program. And in the first call, the Delta program, we were able to secure technology transfer to Nigeria to about 25 enterprises that are currently building new products or improving existing ones for the benefit of Nigerian economy. An offshoot of that is the program that we have started called Delta, that is developing engineering leaders through, which is focusing on building female engineers in Nigeria. Because what we have seen is that the participation of female in the Nigerian technology and the science and engineering ecosystem is just 5%, which is far, far below the global average of 28%. So we now develop a program that just focuses on female engineers, where we give them funding, we give them mentorship, and we give them the required partnership for them to bring in their ideas into life and make it commercially viable. That is one of the programs we have done under the arrangement with the Czech Republic. Also, what we are doing also in our office and also in conjunction with NASENI is to see how we develop the capacity of young innovators in Nigeria. Because we have a lot of talent, but they don't have the support needed. So we have various programs that we have introduced with NASENI, from the Delta to Delta to Innovate Nigeria to Reverse Japa, that is focusing on Nigerians, both at home and diaspora. How can you come back to give what you have in developing our own economy? We are ready to provide funding, we are ready to provide the right partnership to Nigerians, we are ready to provide the right government support for you to come back to Nigeria and establish your own business, bring your talent, and establish, bring the talent, produce goods and services in Nigeria that the country needs instead of us going to export it. Most of these programs are on the website of NASENI and also the PICTT. I enjoin all Nigerians, both at home and abroad, to go to our website and see how they can register to get access to this program. There is funding that the President has approved for such programs that we can help people to bring in their ideas and make us proud as a country. So with this, I don't want to take much of your time. I would say Nigeria is ready for business, but we are ready for partnership. Partnership that is mutually beneficial, and a partnership that we have with the kind of the one we have with the Czech Republic. Because the kind of agreement we have with the Czechs is that for any idea we have, they bring in their research agencies and their entrepreneurs. We bring in our research agencies and our entrepreneurs and form a consortium whereby we own whatever outcome of the research and development output is 50-50, and we contribute 50-50 to it. At the end of the day, we have access to the technology, and they have access to the large market we have as a country, and also provide them an inroad into Africa to the agreement that we have for free trade in Africa. So Nigeria is ready for business. I welcome everyone to come back home and see the new renewed hope agenda of Mr. President is working, and it is just the beginning. Thank you very much.
So our group of companies are invested between agriculture, energy, and affordable housing. And to speak to the energy, we concentrate mainly on rural electrification. So we've gone for the more difficult task of trying to connect people from the rural areas. And so when people talk about the issues in Nigeria, obviously there are challenges, but over the years it's given us the opportunity to figure out how to use mobile phones to collect money for energy. The PICT just came earlier, the Presidential Implementation Committee, and we are in a reverse engineering program with them, with our Dutch partners. I think earlier they said US, but actually our OEMs are Dutch companies. And to be practical about the conversation I'm having, I think we'll just speak to what we do and where we're trying to go to. First of all, the Nigerian government has set the right fiscal incentives. There are no taxes on renewable energy products. And let's say you had a particular product that wasn't in the country earlier, people like PEBEC usually would point you in the right direction on people you can talk to, either in NIPC or in the Ministry of Finance, where you can get tax incentives for your products. We believe that in the 21st century, Nigeria should not generate power in Port Harcourt and transmit it to Maiduguri. I mean, you can generate all the power you need in Maiduguri from Maiduguri by having a solar power plant that is 100 megawatts. And that's the future of energy. The same way telecoms, we feel like MTN disrupted the NITEL model of a wired network. So what will happen in the future is that it will be decentralized energy. Now, it's our generation's responsibility to take those risks. So if you government guys can tell us how we can borrow big amount of money to build it, we're more than happy to do it. But I want to just leave by saying that there's nothing wrong with Nigeria. I think if we look deeply, all the money you need to make is there. I will encourage government to believe more in local talent and local capacity, and we will be able to grow things. Because if we go around the world telling them that we are lacking something, it's very unlikely you're going to get good deals. But if you go with Nigerians that have something, it's very likely that we're going to get better deals from whoever it is you say has something on the other side. So that's just my contribution. And my sister, Zahrah, you know, she doesn't take no for an answer. So I think you kind of have the best person to promote export promotion. I told her I had a custom problem one day, and she called like 4 customs people for me in the space of 30 minutes. So I think that's the kind of attitude we need to move Nigeria forward. Thank you very much, everyone.
We're very supportive of this event, and we are very supportive of PEBEC. PEBEC is an organization that we're very familiar with, and since Mr. Zahrah has taken over, we've been able to engage, and we look forward to engaging more. What I'm going to do today is tell you a bit about who we are and what we do, and how we operate in Nigeria. I work for a company, my name is Kabir Shagaya, and I work for a company called Kavista Holdings. Kavista Holdings is a holdings company which has 4 different portfolio companies in Nigeria. We are in the hospitality sector with Ikogosi One Springs Resorts in Ekiti State. I'll start with telling you a bit about Ikogosi. Ikogosi is one of the only places in the world where you see hot water and cold water coexist peacefully for generations. We took over the resort from the Ekiti State government about 4 years ago, invested about 10 billion naira in the resort in the last 4 years, and we've been able to change it to the best holiday resort in Nigeria for the last 2 years in a row.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So that's about Ikogosi. So please, I encourage all of you all to make a trip to Ekiti State and host Ikogosi One Springs Resort. Yeah. We've hosted the Minister of Arts and Culture, we've hosted a few ministers, and also we have some residential delegations as well, which we plan on hosting. Second company I'll tell you a bit about is
our other company, which is PEBEC, our fintech. PEBEC is a financial services company similar to your Money Points and your other fintechs. We have 3 CBN licenses. We have a PSSP, the PTSP, and also super agent license. We plan on increasing financial inclusion. We plan on making sure that we use that to transform lives and to create access to revenue for different local communities. Because in Cavista, we believe that business can be a force for good, which can be used to transform lives, and all our investments must be impactful investments that show impact on society. Our third portfolio company I'll tell you about today is Cavista Tech. Cavista Tech is our flagship business, which is actually why we are a US-Nigeria company. Cavista Tech is one of the largest employers of software engineers in Nigeria. We have offices in Nigeria, Botswana, India, the Philippines, Canada, and the USA. We also have staff that work in London and Australia and some other remote teams, but it's a global operations. They support our parent company, which is based in Dallas, Texas, called Access. Access is one of the largest healthcare software companies in the world. We manage home healthcare for over 7,000 hospitals in the US. And I'll have you know, the majority of the support system for that comes from Nigeria, from Lagos. And we believe strongly in continuing to invest heavily in Nigeria and making sure that we keep using Nigeria as the flagship of our Africa's journey. We also have offices in Botswana, which is our satellite office is open, and we plan on opening more African countries over the next couple of years. My company also serves as the chair of the Corporate Council on Africa. My chairman, John Olajide, is the chairman of Corporate Council on Africa, which is one of the largest US-Nigeria business organizations, along with AmCham, which is one of our partners as well. And we're hoping to become a member very, very soon, hopefully be on your board as well. And what we will say is that we find the Chamber very, very helpful in what they do, and we want to thank you for all your work in promoting what you've been doing between Nigeria and America, and we continue to work with organizations like yourselves to support and to encourage the bilateral relationships that go on between the two countries.
In today's interconnected world, effective immigration services and investment facilitation are critical to attracting foreign direct investment and fostering economic development. Under the Renewed Hope agenda of His Excellency the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, through the Honorable Minister of Interior, Oluwumi Ojo, this has enabled the Nigerian Immigration Service to implement competitive visa residency system, strengthen border and migration management, and ensure transparent monitoring processes. Nigeria is embracing new opportunities with reform designed to create a thriving environment for business and investors. The Nigerian Immigration Service also plays a direct role in facilitating business. We have set up dedicated immigration desk in free trade zone for quicker processing of visas and payments. Our commitment to transparency is reinforced through hostmanship training, anti-corruption measures, and regular stakeholder engagement with the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, which is PEBEC. Then civil society and the Nigeria Investment Promotion Commission too, NIPC. There are results of all this reform. The reform are yielding results according to the World Bank 2024 report. Nigeria is beginning to reap the benefits of significant policy reform following the fiscal crisis in 2020. Cooperation has commended our swift visa processing. Swift visa processing, efficient expatriate integration, and streamlined border procure as major factors in their decision to invest in Nigeria. On our results, we have 92% success rate for both the e-visa and temporary work permit. In conclusion, the Nigerian Immigration Service is committed to being a key enabler of business and investment, because we are to receive you as you are entering the country and let you know that our country is safe and good to invest. We invite the global investors and partners to seize the opportunity Nigeria presents today.
We stand ready to facilitate your success and we welcome collaboration that will enhance our capacity to deliver on our mandates. We are therefore open to discuss suggestions and partnership that will enable our capacity to deliver more on our mandate. Together, let us create a better business environment that positions Nigeria as preferred destination for foreign direct investment. Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is John Paul. Well, I just came up to speak more about what we're doing at Lagos and pushing the Nigerian culture with food and music and everything. One second. I'm not really good at speaking, so I'm trying to catch my breath a little bit. In the last few years, we opened Lagos about 5 years ago, and we've grown from a 2,000 square foot space to a 10,000 square foot space, just showing how the growth of Nigerian cuisine has in the last couple of years. I'm not going to be here long, just wanted to come and show face and say I appreciate the support, obviously. We plan on moving from the UK to Nigeria, actually looking at space in Nigeria now, just so we can, again, spread the culture, take some of what we're doing in New York and bring it to Nigeria as well. Again, not planned, not good at speaking, so I want to say thank you to everybody and
Well done.
for inviting me.
And on that note, I celebrate all of us here. I celebrate all the Nigerians who are arrogantly Nigerian. I celebrate our country because we put Nigeria back on the map. And we look forward to future engagements. I know later on this evening we have the Cavista dinner. Tomorrow we have the NIMC side event. All the information can be circulated. The players are in the room. Please, network. That's the whole purpose of PEBEC, bridging the gap between private sector and government as a whole. We look forward to having a better and bigger one next year, and we thank you once more. Please enjoy, let's network, let's make the most of it, and safe travels back to Nigeria and the rest of the world. Thank you.